Louis, chapter 1. And the copies of the words of Louis, the matters which he ordained to his banim according to all that they should do, what matters should befall them until the day of judgment. And he was sound in Berit when he called to him, for it would have been revealed to him that he would die. And when they were gathered together, he said to them, chapter 2. I, Louis, was born in Haran, and came with my father to Shechem, and I was young, about 20 years of age, when with Shimun I wrought vengeance on Hamor for our sister Dinah. And when I was feeding the flocks in Habal Ma'ul, the rook of understanding of Yahuwah came upon me, and I saw all males corrupting their way, and that unrighteousness had built walls for itself, and lawlessness sat upon its towers. And I was grieving for the people of the bonding of males, and I plowed to Yahuwah that I might be saved. Then a sleep fell upon me, and I saw a high mountain, and I was upon it. And see, the Shamayim were opened, and a messenger of Elohim said to me, Louis, enter. And I entered from the first Shamayim, and I saw there a great sea hanging. And further I saw a second Shamayim, far brighter and more brilliant, for there was a boundless light also therein. And I said to the messenger, why is this so? And the messenger said to me, do not marvel at this, for you shall see another Shamayim more brilliant and incomparable. And when you have ascended there, you shall stand near Yahuwah, and shall be his servant, and shall declare his mysteries to males, and shall proclaim concerning him that he shall redeem Yizraal. And by you and Yahudah shall Yahuwah appear to among males, saving all nations of males. And your height shall be from the portion of Yahuwah, and he shall be your field and vineyard, fruit, and gold and silver. Chapter 3. I hear, therefore, regarding the Shamayim which have been shown to you, because of this the lowest is dim to you, in that it beholds all the unrighteous deeds of males, and it has fire and snow and ice made ready for the day of judgment, and the righteous judgment of Elohim. For in it are all the root of the retributions for vengeance on males. And in the second are the hosts of the armies which are ordained for the day of judgment, to work vengeance on the Rukut and of deceit and of Balial. And above them are the Kadashim. And in the highest of all dwells the great esteem, far above all Kadashah. And the Shamayim next to it are the chief messengers who minister and make atoning offerings to Yahuwah for all the crimes of ignorance of the righteous, offering to Yahuwah a sweet-smelling fragrance, a reasonable and bloodless offering. And in the Shamayim below, this are the messengers who bear answers to the messengers of the presence of Yahuwah. And in the Shamayim next to this are the thrones of rulership, in which they continuously offer praise to Elohim. Therefore, when Yahuwah looks upon us, all of us are shaken, even so. The Shamayim and the Eretz and the depths are shaken at the presence of his splendor. But the Banim of males have no perception of these matters, crime and provoke the Most High. Chapter 4. Now therefore, know that Yahuwah shall execute right ruling over the Banim of males, because when the rocks are being split, and the greater light quenched, the waters dried up, the fire withdraws, and all creation troubled, and the invisible Rukut melting away, and Gehinnom takes spoil through the visitations of the Most High. Males shall be unbelieving and persist in their wickedness. Because of this, they shall be judged with punishment. Therefore, the Most High has heard your palau to separate you from wickedness, and that you become a bond to him, and a servant and an attendant of his presence. You are to illuminate the light of knowledge in Yaaqub, and you are to be as the bond, or as the greater light to all the seed of Yizraal. And the barakah shall be given to you and all your seed, until Yahweh visits all the Gentiles in his compassion forever. And therefore counsel and understanding has been given to you, that you instruct your banim concerning this, because they that barak him shall be bruised, and they that curse him shall perish. Chapter 5. And after this the messenger opened the gates of the Shemayim to me, and I saw the Kadush Hakal, and the Most High upon a throne of esteem. And he said to me, Louis, I have given you the Barakut of the Kuhana, until I come and sojourn in the midst of Israel. Then the messenger brought me down to the Eretz, and gave me a shield with a sword, and said to me, Execute vengeance on Shechem, because of Dinah your sister, and I shall be with you, because Yahuwah has sent me. And at that time I destroyed the Banim of Hamor, as it is written in the tablets of the Shemayim. And I said to him, Please, my master, tell me your name, that I may call upon you in the day of tribulation. And he said, I am the messenger who intercedes for the nation of Israel, that they are not completely destroyed, for every evil rook attacks him. And after these matters I awoke in Barak the Most High, and the messenger who intercedes for the nation of Israel and for all the righteous. Chapter 6. And when I was going to my father, I found a bronze shield, which is why the name of the mountain is also Magan, which is near Gabal, to the south of Abal. And I kept these words in my heart, and after this I advised my father and Rauban, my brother, to say to the Banim of Hamor, ought not to be circumcised, for I was ardent because of the abomination which they had done to my sister. And I slew Shechem first, and Shimun slew Hamor. And after this my brother came and smote the city with the edge of the sword. And my father heard these matters and was wroth, and he was grieved in that day, and that they had received the circumcision, and afterward been put to death. And in his barakut he looked evilly upon us, for we cried because we had done this matter against his desire. But he was sick on that day. But I saw that the sentence of Elohim was for evil upon Shechem, for they sought to do to Sarah and Ribkah as they had done to Dinah our sister. But Yahuwah prevented them. And they persecuted Abraham, our father, when he was a stranger, and when they distressed his flocks, when they were pregnant, and mistreated Ablaam, who was born in his house. And so they did to all the strangers, taking away their wives by force, and they banished them. But the wrath of Yahuwah came upon them to the utmost. Chapter 7. And I said to my father Yaaqub, Through you Yahuwah shall destroy the Canaanites, and shall give their land to you and to your seed after you. For from this day onward Shechem shall be called the city of fools. For as a male mocked a fool, so we mocked them, because they also had wrought folly in Israel by defiling my sister. And we departed and came to Beit Al. Chapter 8. And again I saw a vision there, as the former, after we had spent 70 days there. And I saw 7 males in white garments, saying to me, Arise, put on the robe of the kahuna, and the crown of righteousness, and the breastplate of understanding, and the garment of truth, and the breastplate of belief, and the turban for the head, and the shoulder garment of Nabuah. And they individually carried and clothed me, and said to me, From now on, become a Kuhan of Yahuwah, you and your seed forever. And the first anointed me with Kadush oil, and gave me the staff of right ruling to me. The second washed me with pure water, and fed me with bread and wine, the most Kadush, and clothed me with a Kadush and fine robe. The third clothed me with a linen garment like a shoulder garment. The fourth put a purple-like girdle around me. The fifth gave me a branch of rich olive oil. And the sixth placed a crown upon my head. The seventh placed a diadem of kahuna upon my head, and filled my hands with incense, that I might serve as Kuhan to Yahuwah Elohim. And they said to me, Louis, your seed shall be divided into 3 positions, for a sign of the esteem of Yahuwah who is to come. The first position shall be great, indeed none are greater than it. The second shall be in the Kohana, and the third shall be called by a new name, because a sovereign shall arise in Yehuda, and shall establish a new Kahuna, after the form of the Gentiles, and his presence is beloved as a Nabi of the Most High, of the seed of Abraham our father. Therefore every desirable matter in Yizraal shall be for you, and for your seed, and you shall eat all that is good to look at, and your seed shall share the table of Yahuwah. And some of them shall be chief Kohanim and judges and scribes, for the Mikdash shall be guarded by their mouth. When I awoke, I understood that this was like the first dream. I also hid in this my heart, and did not tell it to any male on the Eretz. Chapter 9. And after 2 days, Yehuda and I went up with our father Yaaqub to Yitzchak, our father's father. And my father's father baraked me according to all the words of the vision which I had seen, and he would not come with us to Beit Al. And when we came to Beit Al, my father saw a vision concerning me, that I should be their Kuhan to Elohim. And he rose up early in the Bakar, and paid tithes of all to Yahuwah through me. And so we came to Abram to dwell there, and Yitzchak called me continually, and put me in remembrance of the Torah of Yahuwah, even as the messenger of Yahuwah showed me. And he taught me the law of the Kohana, and offerings, whole burnt offerings, first fruits, voluntary offerings, peace offerings. And each day he was instructing me, and he was abused on my behalf before Yahuwah. And he said to me, beware the rook of whoring, for this shall continue, and by your seed shall defile the Mikdash. Therefore take a wife for yourself without blemish or defilement, while you are still young, and not of the people of foreign nations. And before entering into your Mikdash, bathe, and when you offer the offerings, wash, and again when you finish the offering, wash leaves of the 12 trees offered to Yahuwah, as Abraham taught me also. And every clean beast and bird make an offering to Yahuwah. And give the first of all your firstfruits and wine as an offering to Yahuwah Elohim, and every sacrifice you shall season with salt. Chapter 10. And now, children, guard whatever I command you, for whatever I have heard from my fathers I have declared to you. See, I am clear from your wickedness and transgression, which you shall do at the end of ages, deceiving Yisrael, and stirring up against it great evils from Yahuwah. And together with Yisrael you shall deal lawlessly, so he shall not bear with Yerushalayim because of your wickedness, but the veil of the Hakal shall be torn, so as not to cover your shame. And you shall be scattered as captives among the Gentiles, and shall be for reproach and for a curse there. For the house which Yahuwah chooses shall be called Yerushalayim, as it contained in the book of Chanuk, the righteous. Chapter 11. Therefore, when I took a wife, I was 28 years old, and her name was Malka. She conceived and bore a bond, and called his name Garshum. For we were sojourners in our land, and I saw concerning him that he would not be in the first rank. And Kahath was born in 35th year of my height, towards the greater light rising. And I saw in a vision that he was standing on high in the midst of all the congregation. Therefore I called his name Kahath, which is beginning of majesty and instruction. And she bore me a third bond in the 40th year of my height. And because his mother bore him with difficulty, I called him Marari, that is my bitterness, because he also was thought to die. And Yaaqub was born in Mitzrayim in my 64th year, for I was of name then in the midst of my brothers. Chapter 12. And Gershom took a wife, and she bore to him Libni, and Shimi, and the Banim of Kahath, Amram, Yitshar, Habrun, and Uziel, and the Banim of Merari, Mali, and Mushi. And in the 94th year, Amram took Yukabad, my daughter, to him as a wife, for they were born in one day, he and my daughter. I was 8 years old when I went into the land of Canaan, and 18 years when I slew Shechem. And at 19 years I became Kuhan. At 20 years I took a wife. At 48 I went into Mitzrayim. And see, my Banim, you are a third generation, and my 118 year Yusef died. Chapter 13. And now, my Banim, I command you, revere Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and walk in sincerity according to all his Torah. And also teach your children letters, that they have understanding all their height, reading the Torah of Elohim unceasingly. For everyone that knows the Torah of Yahweh shall be honored, and shall not be a stranger wherever he goes. Indeed, he shall gain much friends, more than his parents, and much males shall desire to serve him, and to hear the Torah from his mouth. Therefore, work righteousness on the Eretz, my Banim, that you may possess it as a treasure in the Shemayim, and sow good in your beings, that you find them in your height. But if you sow evil, you shall reap every trouble and affliction. Get wisdom and the reverence of Elohim with diligence, for if there is leading into captivity, and cities and lands are destroyed, gold and silver and every possession perishes, the wisdom of the wise can never be taken away, except the blindness of wickedness and the apathy of crime. For if one keeps oneself from these evils, then even among his enemies wisdom shall be in esteem to him, in a strange country, a homeland, and shall prove a friend in the midst of foes. Whoever teaches worthy matters and does them shall be enthroned with sovereigns, as was also Yusef my brother. Chapter 14. Therefore, my Banim, I have learned that at the end of ages you shall transgress against Yahweh, stretching out hands to wickedness, and you shall become a scorn to all the Gentiles, for our father Yisrael is clean from the transgressions of the chief Kohanim. For as the Shemayim is cleaner in the sight of Yahweh than all the Eretz, so also be with you. The lights of Yisrael, than all the Gentiles. But if you are darkened through transgression, what therefore shall all the Gentiles do with living in blindness? Indeed, you shall bring a curse upon our people, because the light of the Torah which was given to lighten every man, and this you desire to destroy by teaching commands contrary to the laws of Elohim. The offerings of Yahweh you shall rob, and from his portion you shall steal choice portions, eating scornfully with whores. And you shall teach the commands of Yahweh for self-gain. You shall defile married females, and you shall defile the maidens of Yerushalayim, and you shall be joined with whores and adulteresses, and you shall take the daughters of the Gentiles to wife, cleansing them with an unlawful cleansing, and your union shall be like Sodom and Gomorrah. And you shall be puffed up because of your Kohana, lifting yourselves up against males, and not only so, but also against the commands of Elohim. For you shall despise the Kadush matters with jest and laughter. Chapter 15. Therefore the Hakal, which Yahuwah shall choose, shall be laid waste through your uncleanness, and you shall be captives throughout all nations, and you shall be an abomination to them, and you shall receive reproach and everlasting shame from the righteous judgment of Elohim. And all who hate you shall rejoice at your destruction. And if you were not to receive favor through Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaaqub, our fathers, not one of our seed should be left on the Eretz. Chapter 16. And now I have learned that for 70 weeks you shall go astray, and profane the Kohana, and defile the offerings, and you shall nullify the Torah, and despise the words of the Nabi'im, by evil perverseness. And you shall persecute righteous males, and hate the righteous, and the words of the trustworthy you shall abhor. And because of it, your mikdashim shall be laid waste even to the ground, and you shall have no place that is clean, but you shall be a curse among the Gentiles, and a dispersion until he shall visit again, and shall receive you in compassion. Chapter 17. And now, you have heard concerning the 70 weeks. Hear also concerning the kahuna, for in each Yubam there shall be a kahuna, and in the first Yubam, the first who is anointed to the kahuna shall be great, and shall speak to Elohim as a father, and his kahuna shall be perfect with Yahuwah. In the second Yubam, he that is anointed shall be conceived in the sorrow of beloved one, and his kahuna shall be honored and shall be esteemed by all. And the third Kuhan shall be taken hold of by sorrow. The fourth shall be in pain, because unrighteousness shall gather itself against him exceedingly, and all yizraal shall hate each one his neighbor. The fifth shall be taken hold of by darkness, likewise also the sixth and the seventh. And the seventh shall be such defilement that I cannot express before males, for they who do these matters shall know it. Therefore they shall be taken captive and become as a prey, and their land and their possessions shall be destroyed. And in the fifth week they shall return to their desolate country, and shall renew the house of Yahuwah. And in the seventh week shall become Kohanim, adulterers, lovers of silver, proud, lawless, indecent, abusers of children and beasts. Chapter 18. And after their punishment has come from Yahuwah, the Kohanah shall fail. Then Yahuwah shall raise up a new Kohan, and all the words of Yahuwah shall be revealed to him, and he shall execute right ruling upon all the Eretz for a number of days. And his star shall rise in the Shemayim as of a sovereign, lighting up the light of knowledge as the greater light of the day. And he shall be magnified in the world. He shall shine forth as the greater light on the Eretz, and shall remove all darkness from under the Shemayim. And there shall be peace in all the Eretz. The Shemayim shall exult in his days. The Eretz shall be glad, the clouds shall rejoice, and knowledge of Yahuwah shall be poured out on the Eretz, as the water of the seas. And the messengers of the esteem of the presence of Yahuwah shall rejoice in him. The Shemayim shall be opened, and the Kadashah shall come upon him from the Hakal of esteem, with the Father's voice, as from Abraham to Yitzchak. And the esteem of the Most High shall be spoken over him, and the root of understanding, and the Kadashah shall rest upon him. For he shall give the greatness of Yahuwah to his Banim in truth forever, and none shall succeed him for all generations forever. And in his kahuna the Gentiles shall be multiplied in knowledge upon the Eretz, and enlightened through the favor of Yahuwah. In his kahuna crime shall come to an end, the lawless shall cease to do evil, and the righteous shall rest in him. And he shall open the gates of paradise, and shall remove the threatening sword against Adam. And he shall give to the Kadashim to eat from the tree of Hai, and the root of Kadashah shall be on them, and Belial shall be bound by him, and he shall give power to his children to tread upon the evil Rukuk. And Yahuwah shall rejoice in his children, and be well pleased in his beloved ones forever. Then Abram and Yitzchak and Yaaqub shall exult, and I shall be glad, and all the Kadushim shall clothe themselves with joy. Chapter 19. And now, my Banim, you have heard all. Choose therefore for yourselves either the light or the darkness, either by the Torah of Yahuwah or by the works of Belial. And his Banim answered him, saying, We shall walk before Yahuwah according to his Torah. And their father said to them, Yahuwah is witness, and his messengers are witnesses, and you are witnesses, and I am witness concerning the word of your mouth. And his Banim said to him, We are witnesses. And so Louis ceased commanding his Banim, stretched out his legs on the bed, and was gathered to his fathers. After he had lived 137 years, they laid him in a coffin, and afterwards they buried him in Hebron with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaaqub.